If you don't invite your brother, we're not coming. That's what my mom said. Like she wasn't talking about the guy who literally slept with my fiancé. 2 weeks ago, I was standing in my kitchen, halfway through a mug of cold-ass coffee, staring at the guest list for my wedding when her text came through. My stomach dropped before I even read it. You know that feeling, like you just know it's going to ruin your day. It did. Saw your invites. Guess Cole's wasn't an oversight. He'll be there. Right, let us know. XOXO, Mom. Oh, so we're doing that now. I had to put the mug down because my hands were shaking, not from sadness, from pure boiling. What the actual fuck rage? Let me back up. Because this isn't just about a wedding, or a brother, or a mom who just wants peace. This is about years, literal years of being the backup singer to someone else's goddamn solo. Flashback. A year ago, Jake and I had just gotten engaged. He proposed in Central Park with one of those goofy little flash mobs, embarrassing and over the top, just like him. I was shocked, happy, maybe even deluded enough to believe I'd finally gotten something good. 2 weeks later, I found out about the affair. Want to guess with who? Yep, my brother Cole. The same Cole who's been the favorite since before I had teeth. The TikTok famous golden boy. Mr. Startup. Mr. Podcast Mr. Let's normalize emotional vulnerability, but also secretly fuck over our siblings. Yeah, that guy. I walked in on them at a family weekend when I came home early to surprise Jake. He was supposed to be out with Cole. Turns out they were bonding in the worst way imaginable. And Cole, he just smirked at me, like I was interrupting something funny. Jake tried to gaslight me. Cole didn't even bother. Just said, "You weren't going to marry him anyway." Like that was his decision to make. Cut to last week, I told Mom I wasn't inviting Cole to the wedding. Period. She acted like I'd said I was replacing the cake with a dumpster fire. Family is family, Alyssa. Don't let one mistake define everything. One mistake. This man screwed my fiancé on purpose. Because guess what? It wasn't random. I found the texts. He hunted Jake. He made jokes about how I was too much and too serious and trying too hard to be taken seriously. As if any of that justifies the betrayal. When I told her all this, she sighed. Cole's just going through a lot right now. She said, he's under pressure. Screw that! You know who else went through a lot, me? When I was busting my ass in journalism school while they threw money at Cole's fifth failed crypto app. When I got passed over for every single family holiday card. When I was cropped out of a picture, literally cropped out because it looked better without the shadows. Yeah, I was the fucking shadow. Let's talk about my parents for a minute. My mom is what the internet calls an almond mom. Looks perfect, eats air, judges everyone else. She talks about trauma like it's a skincare trend. Have you tried meditating on why you're so reactive? My dad is a retired senator. Big on speeches, short on feelings. If it didn't make headlines or fit in a campaign slogan, it wasn't important. He once told me journalism was a hobby for people who failed at law school. So you can imagine how much they respected my choices. Growing up, everything revolved around Cole. If I got an A, he got a party for recovering from burnout. If I got into college, he needed space to process a breakup. Every success of mine got filtered through whatever tragedy or drama he was manufacturing that week. The night I told them about Jake cheating, I was hoping naively for backup. Instead, Mom, are you sure you didn't push Jake away? Dad, you two weren't that compatible anyway. Cole radio silence, like he was the real victim here. I went no contact for about 6 months, moved back to New York, rebuilt, met someone kind, honest, nothing like Jake, got my career back on track, started planning a new future, on my terms. And then I made the mistake of thinking, maybe this time they'll show up for me. This morning, I was finalizing the seating chart when I saw another message from Mom. If Cole can't come, neither can we. Think about what you're doing. I sat there for a full minute, just staring. And then I laughed. Full body, bitter-ass laugh. Because suddenly, everything was so clear. They weren't trying to support me. They were just trying to protect their image. A wedding without the perfect son, how would that look to their friends, their donors, their neighbors? That's when I made a different kind of decision. Not just to cut Cole out of the wedding, but to invite someone else in. Someone who had every reason to burn their facade to the ground. Meet Avery. If there's one person my parents hate more than the truth, it's Avery. She used to be my dad's campaign manager. Brilliant, sharp as hell. Loyal, too loyal, honestly. Until she discovered financial records that didn't add up, donations that were redirected, silent deals with media execs to suppress scandals. She tried to confront them. Guess how they thanked her? They leaked fake stories about her mental instability, ruined her career, and told Grandma she was stealing funds to cover an affair. It was textbook character assassination. I hadn't spoken to Avery in years, but suddenly she was all I could think about. Because she knew the truth. She lived the truth. And if anyone deserved a front row seat to this wedding, it was her. So I picked up my phone. No hesitation this time. Hey, Avery, I'm getting married. Want to come make some chaos with me? She didn't reply right away. Avery's the kind of person who doesn't do drama unless it's calculated. Back when she was still managing campaigns, they used to call her the Silent Storm. She never raised her voice. But if she stepped out of a room quietly, someone was getting fired within the hour. So yeah, I wasn't sure she'd even read the message. But 2 days later, she called. No text, no hey, just a call. I stared at the screen for a full 10 seconds before answering. My hands were sweaty. Hello. Her voice was calm, always calm. You sure you want to invite a political ghost to your wedding? I didn't miss a beat, only if she brings receipts. She laughed. Quiet, dry, but it was a laugh. I'm in. And just like that, the game changed. Let me be clear, this wasn't about revenge. Not at first. At first, it was just about having someone there who saw me, who knew, intimately, how good my family was at rewriting history. Avery had been gaslit by them long before I ever caught on. Back when I was 15, she was my safe person, my cool aunt. Even though we weren't related, she'd smuggle me books banned in our house, teach me how to use a real camera, and say things like, it's okay to not want to be palatable. I didn't even know what the hell that meant at the time. I just knew she was the only adult who didn't flinch when I spoke my mind. Then one day, she disappeared. I asked about her, and my mom just waved her hand like she was swatting a fly. She moved, got into some trouble, unstable. Unstable, right. What they didn't say was that my dad had forged donation documents and pinned them on her, that they fabricated screenshots, convinced my grandma that Avery had been planning to smear the whole family. It took me years to put it all together. By then, Avery had gone full ghost, changed her number, wiped her socials. The only reason I even found her was because I'd seen a byline on a political Substack, Maxwell, and something just clicked. I emailed her. She didn't respond. I let it go until now. Anyway, she came over the next weekend. She brought wine. A bottle of Tempranillo. She said she'd been saving for the moment the wheel turned. She looked older, obviously, but in that graceful way people do when they've stopped pretending. Hair buzzed short, no makeup, piercing eyes. Still that same half smirk, like she was always 5 steps ahead. We sat on my couch and just talked. She asked about the wedding. I told her everything about Jake, about Cole, the live streams, the guilt trips, the bullshit. At one point, she leaned back and said, "You know, your dad said something to me once, right before the press release that ended my career." I looked at her. What? She sipped her wine. He said, "Perception is everything. As long as you're loud first, the truth can't catch up." My blood went cold. That was exactly what Cole did with that viral poor me video after I kicked my parents out of engagement dinner. Painted me as angry, unstable, holding grudges. And they loved it. That shit got picked up by TikTok drama accounts. They learned from him, I muttered. Avery nodded. And now they're about to learn from you. The plan wasn't complicated. I wasn't trying to expose anyone at the wedding. I didn't want some movie-style takedown with a mic drop and people gasping in the pews. That's Cole's brand: loud, messy, fake deep. No, I wanted silence, impact, reflection. I just wanted them to see her. So I put Avery at the family table, right in the middle, between my grandma and my aunt, who still believes Fox News is spiritual nourishment. I didn't warn them. I wanted the first look my mother had of my wedding to be Avery, sitting at her table, looking stunning in a black jumpsuit, sipping champagne like she owned the place. But even that plan felt too tame. And then Avery said, "I brought something." She pulled out an old folder. It was thick, worn, like it had been through a flood, a fire, and a nervous breakdown. "These," she said, "are originals. Financial docs, call logs, a letter from your grandma, one she never got to read. You do whatever you want with them. I'm not pressing charges. I just want it documented." I flipped through them. Donation receipts to shell companies, messages between my dad and a journalist offering favors, even a voice memo from my mom saying, "We just need her gone." It was like finding the missing puzzle pieces of 1,000 gaslighting sessions. The week before the wedding, I told my fiancé Michael about everything. He was quiet for a long time after I explained the whole Cole Jake saga. Then he looked at me and said, "Whatever you want to do, I'm behind you. Just tell me where to stand." God, I love that man. Wedding day came, and let me tell you, everything started off weirdly perfect. My dress fit like a dream. My makeup artist nailed the soft but dangerous look. The venue smelled like peonies and bourbon candles. Michael looked like a man in a goddamn J. Crew fairy tale. Even Cole behaved for about 2 hours. He came in late, smiling, wearing all white. I wish I was kidding. My mom followed right behind him, air-kissing everyone like she was the bride. My dad, straight face, stiff shoulders, eye contact like bullets. Then they saw her, Avery, sitting there like nothing had happened, like she belonged, which she did. My mom stopped walking. She froze, mid-stride, mouth open. I didn't say a word, just met her eyes as I walked past. I didn't smile, I didn't nod, I just looked at her, then looked away. Later, I heard she tried to leave, but Grandma pulled her back and said, "You'll stay. We're doing this right." Let me tell you something about Grandma. She may be sweet, but she's got iron in her blood. The ceremony was beautiful, simple, honest, and then came the reception. That's when shit blew up. It started with a toast. Michael's sister stood up, said something sweet and goofy and a little off-color. People laughed, cheered, classic wedding vibe. Then Cole got up. I hadn't invited him to speak. He wasn't even on the program. But he grabbed a mic and started his little speech anyway. "Family," he began. "Man, it's complicated, right? But weddings are about healing, about coming together." I nearly choked on my wine. He looked right at me. "Alyssa, I just want you to know I forgive you. WTF. Forgive me." There was this slow ripple of confusion across the room. And then Avery stood up, didn't say anything, didn't raise her voice. Just walked over to Cole, calm, collected, and placed a thick manila envelope in front of him. He stopped mid-sentence. "What's this?" he asked, laughing nervously. She didn't respond. He opened it, his face dropped. He flipped through 1, 2, 3 pages and then bolted. Didn't say a word. Didn't finish the toast. Just dropped the mic literally and ran out of the reception. My dad tried to follow him. My mom stood there, frozen. And Grandma reached into her bag, pulled out her reading glasses, and started going through the packet like it was the Sunday paper. Want to know the best part? I didn't say a damn thing. I just kept dancing. because for once, finally, the truth didn't need me to scream. It spoke loud enough on its own. The morning after the wedding, I woke up to my phone vibrating off the nightstand. Texts, missed calls, DMs from people I hadn't heard from in years. My old college roommate, a former coworker, even my ex's cousin. Why? Though, at first, I panicked. My brain went full red alert. Did someone die? Did something happen to Michael? Then I opened Instagram. Oh! Cole had gone live again. Let me paint the scene for you. He's sitting in his car, red-eyed, fake crying. Full broken golden boy mode, playing some soft indie track in the background, of course. And the caption, "When your own sister ruins your life on your birthday." His birthday. No one at the wedding even knew it was his birthday, including me. He was acting like I set the reception on fire while kicking puppies and insulting veterans. The comments were blowing up. She sounds toxic of not inviting your brother. That's wild. Blood is thicker than water, bro. He was spinning the entire thing like I'd ambushed him on his special day. Never mind the fact that he stood up at my wedding and tried to manipulate the crowd like it was some YouTube apology video. Never mind the years of psychological warfare and sleeping with my fiancé. But sure, poor Cole. I was pissed, not even gonna lie. My hands were shaking, my vision went blurry. I started typing out a comment, then deleted it, then typed another, deleted that too. Michael sat next to me the whole time, reading over my shoulder. "I'll say something if you want," he said. "No," I muttered. That's what he wants. "You're gonna let him drag you online." I exhaled slowly, then said it out loud. "No, I'm gonna sue him." I called my lawyer the next day. We'd kept in touch since the Jake fallout. She helped me when Cole tried to claim copyright on a podcast episode I produced. Long story. She didn't sound surprised. "Defamation?" she asked. "Yep, and I want it public. I'm done letting them twist the truth." She walked me through everything: screenshots, witness statements, footage from the wedding venue, the whole 9 yards. "Oh, and I've got Avery," I added. That actually made her pause. "Wait, the Avery, the one your dad framed?" "Yep, she's back, and she kept records." There was a beat of silence. "Then I'll be in your city Friday." Meanwhile, my mom decided it was her turn to start texting. First, it was guilt. "You really blindsided your brother. He's heartbroken. Your grandma was so embarrassed. This isn't what a daughter does." Then came manipulation. "We can fix this. Just delete your post. Don't escalate. Think about your future. The family name is already under fire." And then full-on threat mode. "If you go public with this, we'll release the emails. You'll be ruining more than just reputations. This won't end well for you." I showed Michael. He nearly threw his phone across the room. "This isn't a family," he muttered. "This is a damn cult with good PR." Avery, on the other hand, was thriving. She had coffee with Grandma the day after the wedding. Sent me a photo of them on a park bench, laughing like sorority girls. Apparently, Grandma read every page of the packet. Twice. She found the letter she'd written years ago, the one she thought Avery ignored. Turns out, she'd been lied to just like the rest of us. She hugged me. Avery said, like I still mattered. I cried when I read that. And then I cried again when Grandma called me. "Alyssa," she said, "they kept me in the dark, but I see everything now. You were right." 5 words I thought I'd never hear in my lifetime. The following week, the lawsuit went public. It was all over Reddit. Actually, someone leaked the filing, probably Cole himself trying to get ahead of the narrative. But joke's on him, because once it was out there, people started digging. Turns out, when you present the full story screenshots, timelines, receipts, actual audio recordings, the internet has a way of flipping real fast. Comment sections turned from poor Cole to, "Wait, he slept with her fiancé? Nah, this is textbook narcissism. The sister has restraint. I would have set the venue on fire." My DMs full of strangers telling me their own stories about golden child siblings and emotionally negligent parents. People I didn't even know were saying, "Thank you for speaking up." It was wild. I felt seen for the first time in years. But then came the blowback. From my parents, of course. They tried to call Michael's mom, tried to loop her into the Save the Family name campaign, said I was unstable, vindictive, had always been the problem. She texted me the screenshots. One of them said, "We worry she's mentally unwell. You may want to consider stepping in before she does something reckless." I wanted to throw up. This is what they do. They always pivot to character assassination when control slips away. Avery warned me. They don't care about the truth. They care about winning the version of the truth that makes them look holy. I talked to my therapist about it. Yeah, I have one. I need one. She said something that hit me in the chest. You're grieving the family you never had. God, that was it. It wasn't just the betrayal, the wedding drama, the live videos, the smear campaigns. It was the deep, aching hole that said, you were never truly loved here. Not for who you are, not unconditionally, just conditionally, and even that was performance-based. If I smiled enough, shrunk enough, agreed enough, but not anymore. 2 weeks later, we had the first hearing. Cole showed up in a beige hoodie. Trying to look fragile and wounded, his lawyer was smug, slimy, tried to say the video was emotional venting, and did not name Alyssa directly. We had a screen capture showing my face in the background of the thumbnail. The judge wasn't impressed. Avery was there too. Quiet, composed. She testified about the family patterns, the gaslighting, the manipulation, and when it was over, the judge said, the evidence of malicious intent is sufficient. The harm to the plaintiff's reputation and emotional well-being is clear. I didn't cry, I just nodded. Finally. We didn't win millions. This wasn't a Netflix courtroom drama. But Cole was ordered to issue a public apology, retract the video, and pay damages. He did it 2 days later on Instagram. No music this time, no filters. I messed up. I lied. My sister didn't deserve what I did. I'm sorry. Comments were disabled, obviously. My mom sent me one last message. Hope you're proud of yourself. You've destroyed your own family. And for the first time, I didn't reply, not because I didn't have anything to say, but because I finally realized I don't owe them an explanation anymore. 3 days after Cole posted his forced apology, Avery texted me a single sentence. My turn. I knew what she meant. I called her anyway. Are you sure about this? She didn't hesitate. Absolutely. I've been quiet for 10 years. I think that's long enough. And just like that, she filed her lawsuit. Unlike mine, hers wasn't about clout or visibility. She didn't care about sympathy points or going viral. Avery's revenge was colder, cleaner, like a scalpel. She filed against both my parents' emotional and professional defamation, loss of income, intentional sabotage. She included proof of the forged donations, the doctored emails, the planted rumors about her affair. There was a letter from my dad to one of his old political donors, calling Avery unstable and potentially dangerous. Another one from my mom, advising a PR firm to bury the girl's name before she becomes a headline. She had records, screenshots, witness statements from other campaign staffers who'd been too scared to speak up back then, but were ready now. And the best part, she didn't tell them. She just served them. Literally. They were at brunch with some old campaign friends when the server handed my mom a manila envelope and said, "You've been served, ma'am." I wasn't there, but I heard the plates stopped clinking. The fallout was immediate. They tried to spin it at first, said Avery was trying to stay relevant, that this was all because of Alyssa, that we were working together to take down the family legacy. Legacy, please. If that's what they wanted to protect, maybe they should have built one on something other than fear and lies. But the media didn't buy it this time. Not after my case. Some independent journalists started digging into Avery's story, and guess what? It turns out people remembered her. They remembered how suddenly she vanished, how quickly the narrative flipped, how weirdly coordinated it all looked in hindsight, and now they had receipts. Meanwhile, Grandma wasn't just sitting back sipping tea. She was working. She met with her estate lawyer, and a week later, she sent out a group email to the whole family. Short. Brutal. To whom it may concern, I have updated my will. As of now, my estate and property will be passed to Avery Maxwell and Alyssa Jameson. This decision is final and not open for discussion. Boom! No context, no apology, no long speech. Just facts. The replies were delicious. Cole replied, LOL. My dad sent a full essay. My mom said she was disappointed, but not surprised given the manipulation tactics at play. One uncle asked, wait, who's Avery again? And me, I didn't reply at all. Avery cried when she read it. She's not a crier, but this time she just whispered, I thought she forgot me. She never did. I told her. She just didn't know what was real anymore. Honestly, I think that's what hurts the most. It's not just the betrayal. It's the confusion, the second guessing, the constant feeling that maybe you were the problem. That's how they win. They wear you down so much that even your own truth feels unreliable. Anyway, once the inheritance news broke, my parents lost their damn minds. They showed up at Grandma's house uninvited. Banged on the door like teenagers who'd been locked out past curfew. Grandma didn't open it. She called me after, your father said I'm senile, that I've been manipulated, that I don't know what I'm doing. Do you? I asked. She laughed. Honey, I've been quiet for 40 years. I know exactly what I'm doing. Michael and I started house hunting the next week. Not because of the inheritance, though. Yeah, that didn't hurt. But because we finally felt unburdened. Free. There was no more pretending. No more trying to keep the peace while walking on emotional landmines. The sky felt wider. Cole, meanwhile, went on another podcast, one of those healing spaces where influencers talk about accountability without actually taking any. He called the lawsuit a wake-up call and said he was working through his wounds. At one point, he literally said, sometimes the people we hurt are just mirrors reflecting our own pain. Bruh, no. You slept with my fiancé. You slandered your own sister. You weaponized your platform to paint yourself as a victim. That's not a mirror. That's a pattern. Still, people bought it, or at least pretended to. But his brand took a hit. Sponsorships got quiet. Followers dipped. His merch line paused. Can't say I lost sleep over it. The court hearing for Avery's case came quicker than expected. It was surreal watching my parents sit in the defendant's box. My dad, looking like someone had just revoked his parking pass. My mom, stone-faced, like she could blink and manifest a different outcome. Avery, on the other hand, calm, measured. Power suit, no theatrics. She told her story like a journalist, clean, factual, devastating. She played the voicemail from my dad telling someone, she was just a phase we tolerated until she started asking questions. She showed the emails, the bank transfers, the blacklisted job applications. Then she said, I don't need revenge. I just need freedom from their version of me. It was dead quiet. Even the judge looked stunned. They settled out of court. They didn't want the rest of the documents made public. Some were related to donors who still had clout. Avery walked away with a payout, and more importantly, a clean name. She donated part of the settlement to a scholarship fund for first-gen political science students. The rest she used to start a newsletter called The Version They Hid. First edition was called Not Unstable, Just Uncomfortable. It went viral. The more things burned down, the lighter I felt. Like I'd been carrying their silence for so long, that I forgot how heavy it was. And now I had space. To breathe, to love, to be. Grandma moved in with Avery a few weeks after the settlement. They got a little house with a garden, roses and tomatoes and a porch swing. They send me photos almost every weekend. Avery reading, Grandma crocheting, both of them in oversized sunglasses, drinking lemonade like queens who burned the castle down and rebuilt the throne in the backyard. And me, I'm just living. I go on walks, I journal, I dance in the kitchen. Michael and I are planning a honeymoon finally. I blocked my parents. Not out of hate, but because you don't owe the people who broke you front row seats to your healing. 2 months after Avery's settlement, I got a letter in the mail. Not an email, not a DM, a real, actual letter, crisp envelope, neat cursive on the front. I knew that handwriting. Grandma. The return address was Avery's place, which didn't surprise me. But what did surprise me was that it was addressed not just to me, but to Alyssa, and the version of her that was never given a chance. I sat on my front steps and read it out loud to myself like some weird kind of ritual. Dear Alyssa, I've spent most of my life trying to keep the peace. Turns out, I was just preserving the silence. I believed what I was told. I trusted the stories that were easiest to swallow. I know now that truth doesn't shout, it waits. I'm sorry I didn't listen sooner, but I see you now, fully. You are not broken. You are not angry. You are not dramatic. You are awake, and that terrifies people who build power on pretending. Thank you for waking me up too. Love, Grandma. I must have reread that thing 12 times. Every word felt like it unhooked another piece of shame I'd been carrying. Around the same time, Avery started sending me audio clips she was working on for her newsletter. Not for public release, just little raw ones, voice memos, brain dumps. One of them stood out. She was talking about legacy. Legacy, she said, isn't what you leave behind. It's what you unlearn so the next person doesn't carry it. I sat with that one for a long time. It made me think about kids, about whether I'd even want to raise one, knowing the minefield I grew up in. But maybe that's the point. I would know where the mines are buried. Maybe that's the difference. Then, just when things started to feel normal again, Cole reached out, of course. I should have known he wouldn't go quietly. He sent an email this time. Subject line, let's be adults. Already hate it. He opened with, look, I know things got out of hand. I'm not proud of everything I said or did. But dragging the family name through the mud, was it worth it? Yes, it was, actually. Then came the kicker. I've been thinking of rebuilding my platform. Something real, something raw. I think if we collaborated, even just for one video, we could tell both sides. Show growth. Let people see we're not just drama, but a story of redemption. I stared at the screen for a solid minute. Then I laughed, out loud, alone in my kitchen. Like actual laughter. Not out of joy, just disbelief. He wanted to turn our collective trauma into content. Absolutely not. I didn't respond, but I did forward it to Avery with the subject line, Elmo. She texted back, bros will rebrand their entire personality before they apologize correctly. But Cole wasn't done. 2 weeks later, Michael got a DM from some brand rep asking if he wanted to share his perspective on the whole family drama for a digital wellness series. Michael was confused until he saw the email address CC'd on the thread. Cole. He was trying to spin this into a docuseries now. A full-blown redemption arc. We shut that down immediately. But it was clear he wasn't trying to heal. He was trying to monetize the fallout. Classic. And then something happened that changed everything. Grandma collapsed. Avery called me from the hospital, voice shaky for the first time since all this started. She's stable now, she said, but it's not great. Turns out, she'd been hiding symptoms, pain, fatigue. She didn't want to ruin the peace she'd finally found. We sat with her for hours that night. No drama, no forced conversations, just silence, soup, and soft hands. At one point, she looked at us and said, "You two were always the heart of this family. We just didn't know how to keep it beating." Then she made Avery promise one thing. Don't let them rewrite this. We nodded. We wouldn't. After she passed, the obituary Avery wrote went viral. Not because it was dramatic, but because it was honest. Helen Marie Jameson passed peacefully at 86, a lover of crossword puzzles, porch gardens, and fiercely misunderstood women. She left behind her rose bushes, 2 cats, a stack of unfinished letters, and a legacy of finally speaking up. That line? A legacy of finally speaking up. People posted it everywhere. Tumblr, Pinterest, Reddit. They turned it into tattoos, quotes on mugs. One teacher even said she put it in her classroom. Grandma, of all people, had become a quiet icon. She would have hated that and loved it. After the funeral, we all expected one last stunt. And right on cue, Cole showed up. Late, dramatic, wearing sunglasses indoors like he was grieving in 4K. He brought a camera guy. No joke. Said he wanted to capture the goodbye. Michael met him in the parking lot and shut it down before he made it 10 feet. I didn't even have to move. Watching someone else protect your peace. Chef's kiss. Inside, we kept it small. Just me, Avery, a few cousins who had the sense to stay out of the drama. We passed around Grandma's letters, each one personalized, each one brutally honest. Mine said, "You don't have to forgive anyone, Alyssa. You just have to stop waiting for them to change." I've read that line every day since. After the service, we held a little dinner at Avery's house. Nothing fancy, just food and light and stories. At one point, Avery raised a glass. "To endings," she said, "and to what we choose to carry forward." Everyone clinked. And for once, I didn't feel like I was carrying shame or bitterness or some hollow version of family loyalty. I was carrying clarity. That was enough